gotta lean like a tired old man. Clay banks cracked where the driftwood stands. Barges grown low with the weight of the year. Whistle blows a prayer on the towboat here. I used to skip stones where the cattails sway, back when summer was long and the sky was clay. Daddy fixed nets, Mama hummed Patsy Cline. I swore I'd leave, but this mud is mine. There's rust on the river and rust in my veins, iron red streaks on the window pane. Storefronts faded like a cotton dress, Friday night lights in quiet distress. We danced by the bait shop, neon half dead, kissed where the clover stitched the riverbed. I said someday soon, you said someday when. Then the current tugged us out and in. Rust on the river, paint peeling slow, time's a tugboat, where does it go? We're steel and silt, we're prayer and grit, we hold this shoreline and won't quit. Rust on the river, truth runs deep, souls like anchors, learn to keep. If love's a flood that will not forgive her, we're two hearts welded, rust on the river. Your brother took shifts at the grain mill's wheel. The foreman's whistle was the morning zeal. I haul freight nights for a buck and a brew. Turned my collar up when the north wind blew. Gospel on Sundays, news on at 6. Town council argues about the same old fix. We paint the guardrails, mend what we can. The river rewrites every human plan. You wore your granddad's St. Christopher chain, said keep me steady in the slanting rain. We carved our names in the sycamore skin, watched the floodlines rise and fall again. Some friends launched out to a colder coast, chasing a paycheck or different goals, but every letter read like a stranded prayer. Tell me again how the moon looked there. Rust on the river, paint peeling slow, time's a tugboat, where does it go? We're steel and silk, we're prayer and grit, we hold this shoreline and won't quit. Rust on the river, truth runs deep, souls like anchors, learn to keep. If love's a flood that will not forgive her, we're two hearts welded, rust on the river. When the sirens cried in the black of spring, we stacked sandbags like a wedding ring round this town with our human chain. Said grace, said name, stood in the rain. You squeezed my hand till the knuckles burn. Said if it takes us, we won't be turned. But dawn came up in a copper shine, and our little house was still on the line. Rust on the river, we bend not break, we stitch each other for mercy's sake. We're steel and silk, we're prayer and grit. We hold this shoreline and won't quit. Rust on the river, we won't drift far. Our names reflected in the morning star. If love's a flood and we're set to deliver, let the world keep turning. Rust on the river. It starts where the cornfields bow to the sky, a ribbon of asphalt teaching me why. Some prayers are whispered through windshield glare, some vows are signed in the evening air. A coffee-stained map and a glove box cross, a nickel for luck and a line I toss. Lord, keep me between the ditches tonight, as county signs flicker in sodium light. Motels with names like Rest Easy Friend, preachers on billboards promising an end to sorrow at exit 43, where sinners can park and souls ride free. But I've seen redemption in a back road bar, where a waitress wears the night like a scar, sets down pie with a smile half true, says, sweetheart, we all got miles to do. Two-lane testaments under a big sky of psalm, spare tire faith and a steering wheel comb. Every mile marker's a beat I pray, counting the blessings I met today. Two-lane testaments, wind in the wheat, gravel confessions under my feet. If grace got a face, it's a stranger's grin at a gas pump at midnight letting me in. Saw lovers fight by the dairy freeze. She threw the ring, he sank to his knees. Then rain rewrote what words couldn't mend, and thunder applauded their second end. Out past the silo where the owls convene, a thunderhead stitched with electric seam. I pulled to the shoulder, killed the light, and learned to listen to a storm's old ride. An old man hitched with a cardboard plea, just west a ways, he asked of me. He talked of Vietnam and fields of rye, of a son he lost and a God nearby. We split a thermos and we split the dawn. I dropped him at a churchyard lawn. He shook my hand till my knuckles knew that some goodbyes are beginnings too. Two-lane testaments under a big sky of psalm, spare tire faith and a steering wheel calm. Every mile marker's a beat I pray, counting the blessings I met today. Two-lane testaments, wind in the wheat, gravel confessions under my feet. If grace got a face, it's a stranger's grin at a gas pump at midnight, let me in. Radio preacher in a tin can tone says find your flock or drive alone. But I've found choirs and diesel hymns in porchlight halos and truck stop winds. The road won't save you, but it'll show the mercy hidden in things that go. A tail light flicker, a waved hello, the faith it takes to take it slow. Two-lane testaments, amen, let's ride. Let white lines bless this wandering tide. Every mile marker's a beat I pray, counting the mercies I met today. Two-lane testaments, wind in the wheat, gravel confessions under my feet. If grace is a map with edges thin, I'll keep on driving, let the light pour in. There's a paper church on 4th and Vine, folded from bulletins, glue and twine. The choir's made of matchstick men, singing in cardboard now and then. The baker's daughter's saint of pies builds halos out of fireflies. She blesses morning with powdered hands, feeds us mercy from battered pans. On Friday night the mill shuts down, we trade our steel for second-hand crowns. Queen of the raffle, king of the rink, we skate our worries to the edge and sink. A boar named Eli, coat too thin, draws constellations on his skin. Says if I can trace the sky to bone, well, all these lights led mama home. Paper town saints with scissors and glue, patchwork miracles we try to do. Tender as newsprint, tough as chain, we hold the crease and brave the rain. If we burn bright in the smallest paints, we'll light the world, paper town saints. The bartender keeps a jar for dreams, where folks can tip their almost schemes. Truck needs tires, baby, do. College fund, fix the pew. We smoke our hopes out back by trash, share quiet laughs that softly crash. A storm blows through with magazine teeth, tear shingles from a widow's wreath. We gather nails, we gather hands, hammer hymns the wind understands. That night we eat at the fire hall, where soup forgives us one and all. A drifter plays a plywood bass with a smile like a patch suitcase. He hums a verse that makes you think of pennies lined on the sink. Paper town saints with scissors and glue, patchwork miracles we try to do. Tender as newsprint, tough as chain, we hold the crease and brave the rain. Paper town saints, oh fold me tight, teach me how cardboard loves the night. If we burn bright in the smallest paints, we'll light the world, paper town saints. Maybe holiness is a borrowed coat, a note in a lunch pail somebody wrote. Meet me at noon when the siren's done, we'll share a peach and call it sun. Maybe heaven is a pantry door where kids' heights tally year by year. Maybe salvation, hear me now, is fixing coffee for a tired brow. Paper town saints, we're cutting stars, tape them over our busted cars. Tender as newsprint, tough as chain, we keep on singing through the rain. Paper town saints, don't fade or faint, glue my doubt with your patient paint. If there's a gospel for ordinary pains, it's written right here. Paper town saints. We grew up where the mailbox leans, where dust writes our family sings. Every truck that rolls the bend kicks our childhood up again. Your daddy's laugh was a screen door slam, your mama's grace a strawberry jam. We learned the weather by the smell, and the county secrets by who would tell. Storm rolled in with a greenish grin. We hid behind the corn crib tin. Hail like marble, sky like bruises, prayer like that train. I said I'll ride the thunder's mane. Gravel in the wind, grit in our grin. We're made of outward, we're made of in. Spines like fence posts, hearts like twine, tied to this place and its stubborn spine. Gravel in the wind, don't break, just bend. We're the kind of storm the sky calls friend. If the road erodes where the ditches swim, we'll keep on walking. Gravel in the wind. Your brother took the pipeline north, I stayed and kept the stubborn porch. Paint peeled off like winter skin, still we let the daylight in. On Saturdays the feed store sings with gossip, nails and chicken wings. We traded tools and stories too, held together with Elmer's glue. A letter came with a city smell. You wrote of pride and learned spell. You said the sidewalk steady hum makes a country kid feel comfortably numb. But at night you heard a gravel hymn and the rattle of trains along the rim. You missed the crickets' metronome, the way our silence felt like home. Gravel in the wind, grit in our grin. We're made of outward, we're made of in. Spines like fence posts, hearts like twine, tied to this place and its stubborn spine. Gravel in the wind, don't break, just bend. We're the kind of storm the sky calls friend. If the road erodes where the ditches swim, we'll keep on walking. Gravel in the wind. Came back when the summer broke, with shoulders strong and suitcase smoke. We fixed the porch and raised a toast to every ghost we love the most. The cicadas tune the fields to gold. We learned the art of growing old. Our children run where we began and kick the dust like a marching band. Gravel in the wind, our anthem playing with just two names in a long grain chain. Spines like fence posts, hearts like twine, bound to the dirt and a county line. Gravel in the wind, we've been not in. We're the kind of roots the storms defend. If the road forgets where it once had been, we'll still remember. Gravel in the wind.
I found a box in the attic last June, wrapped in twine, smelling faintly of tune. Each card a desert with a crooked line. Wish you were here, but the road is mine. You wrote from Pecos with a faded pen. Sun-baked churches, dust and gin. Said the wind played hymns through mesquite trees, and coyotes howled like minor keys. I read them slow with a coffee cup, every word like a map torn up. Your boots wandered past the motel sign, through rusted gas pumps and railroad time. Said you slept in fields with a blanket sky, drank from rivers that never lie. You sketched the clouds with a poet's hand, said home's a ghost I'll never stand. Postcards from Pecos, ink runs thin, stories written where the road begins. Your voice and letters, dry as stone. 1,000 miles, but I'm not alone. Postcards from Pecos, they keep me near. Every stamp a prayer, every word sincere. If love's a journey, we both confess, I'll meet you there. Postmark West. You spoke of dancers in a border town, boot heels rattling the old wood down, mariachi horns in a midnight breeze, whiskey and sorrow as harmonies. Said the sheriff laughed at your outlaw song, tipped his hat, then rode along. Keep moving, son, don't fight the stream. Even sinners earn a desert dream. Your last card came with a brittle edge, a sketch of mountains and a canyon ledge. You wrote, if tomorrow finds me gone, know the river sang me on. I chased horizons with a hungry soul. I found in silence I was whole. Don't weep for me if the trail turns black. The stars will guide me where roads can't track. Postcards from Pecos, ink runs thin, stories written where the road begins. Your voice and letters, dry as stone. 1,000 miles, but I'm not alone. Postcards from Pecos, they keep me near. Every stamp a prayer, every word sincere. If love's a journey, we both confess, I'll meet you there. Postmark West. I drive that highway in my own time, reading your words like sacred rhyme. Every mile a page, every stop a prayer. I swear I see your shadow there in desert blooms and the painted sky. Your memory walks, it won't die. I tuck those postcards on the dash, your story burning like desert ash. Postcards from Pecos, hearts still blend, letters written that will never end. Your ink is fading, but I still know the trail you blazed is the one I'll go. Postcards from Pecos, they point me true. Through the dust, I'll ride to you. If love's a map, then I've been blessed to follow west. Postcards from Pecos. Golden fields stretching far and wide, crows rise black where the fence rows high. The sky grows green with a storm's intent, clouds like cathedrals heavy and bent. Your hand in mine, we brace the days, thunder drums on our fragile clay. Weed bends low in a reverent prayer, as if God himself walks out there.
The tractor sleeps by the leaning barn. Lightning dances like a fire alarm. Cattle circle in a nervous stance, and the locusts sing their warning dance. We've tilled this land with our blood and bone, raised our children, called it home. Now the heavens test our stubborn seed with a roar that answers every need.
Thunder in the wheat, rolling deep, rolling wide. Heaven and earth where our hearts collide. Lightning writes songs on a paper sky, and the storm reminds us we're small yet tired. Thunder in the wheat, fear and grace. Every storm remembers this place. We hold each other through wind and sleet and find our faith and thunder in the wheat.
Your daddy told of the Dust Bowl years of cracked up ground and mother's tears. Said storms will come, but storms will go, and roots run deep where the children grow. So we nail the shutters, stack the grain,
Trust that love will outlast rain.
a hymn escapes and the candles glow, while thunder shakes the earth below.
The dog hides under the table's brace. We close our eyes, but we don't chase. The storm sings louder than any choir, a symphony built to fear and fire.
You whisper if the roof should fall. We've built a kingdom in these walls.
And when the silence finally lands, we'll still be holding two folded hands. Thunder in the wheat, rolling deep, rolling wide. Heaven and earth where our hearts collide. Lightning writes songs on a paper sky, and the storm reminds us we're small yet tight. Thunder in the wheat, fear and grace. Every storm remembers this place. We hold each other through wind and sleet and find our faith and thunder in the wheat. When morning breaks with a silver crown, the fields still shine though some lay down. Bent but living, scarred but true, like the love I found in you.
Storms will rage, but storms will pass. Wheat still sways like living mass. And
Let the skies declare that storms may break us, but love repairs. Lightning writes songs we can't defeat. We rise again through thunder in the wheat. Thunder in the wheat, fierce and sweet. We keep our ground with steady feet. Heaven's hymn and earth's heartbeat meet together. Thunder in the wheat.
Needle crackled on a Sunday morn, scratched out hymns where my soul was born. Grandma swayed in her cotton dress, sang with a voice that confessed the mess. Her record player was a wooden brass, the kind that holds a whole church mess. She said, child, faith don't live in walls, it spins on grooves when the good Lord calls.
We'd sit cross-legged on the braided rug, listen close to that vinyl hug. Mahalia's voice, a heaven sigh, lifted her hand and raised her eyes.
Taught me grace with a gospel spin, said the devil trembles when the saints walk in. And though our church was 3 miles gone, we had revival in every song. Grandma's vinyl gospel, it saved my skin, turned my sorrow to a violin. The Spirit's sign, a holy echo through time and time. Grandma's vinyl gospel, it won't decay, keeps on preaching in its own way. If heaven sings through an old LP, then Grandma's gospel still lives in me.
Her hands were worn, her knuckles bent from raising kids and paying rent. But when that stylus hit the groove, her body softened, her spirit moved.
She said, every sinner's got a chance to mend, every scratch is just a means to bend. We're all like vinyl, scarred and spun, but Lord, we play till the day is done.
I left that house when I turned 18, chased neon nights and a city scene. But in the noise when I lost my ground, I heard that crackle, that saving sound.
Found her records in a thrift store bin, tears and laughter all pulled me in. Now when I doubt or the road turns cruel, I drop the needle, let Grandma rule. Grandma's vinyl gospel, it saved my skin, turned my sorrow to a violin. The Spirit's sign, a holy echo through time and time.
she passed, the preacher said she left us songs, not tears to shed.
We laid her down with amazing grace, but I swear I saw her smiling face. Back at home I turned the dial and felt her presence all the while. Her faith still spins, her love still strong, each record's groove a lifelong song. Grandma's vinyl gospel, eternal flame, her voice still echoes when I call her name. Crack and hiss, the spirit sign, a holy echo through time and time. Grandma's vinyl gospel, it won't decay, keeps on preaching in its own way. If heaven sings through an old LP, then Grandma's gospel still lives in me.
Mountains swallow the evening sun, and the highway whispered, boy, you run. In Laramie, the streetlights hum, flicker soft like a drunk old drum. I stopped for coffee in a midnight store, asked the clerk if he'd seen you before. He shook his head with a lonesome grin, said in this town all shadows blend in. Your letter mentioned a western sky, where horses roam and lovers lie. You wrote, meet me where the mountains lean, where the twilight paints us evergreen. But I came too late, and the night grew cold. Stories faded, but the truth still told. The last light lingered on a neon sign, said vacancy, but you weren't mine. Last light alert me, fading slow, cast its shadow on all I know. If love's a lantern, it burns too brief, like a prairie fire on autumn's leaf. Last night alert me, dim and true, I'm still chasing the ghost of you. If dawn must steal what night set free, I'll still believe in Laramie. A cowboy strummed by a jukebox glow sang of women he used to know. The barmaid smiled through cigarette smoke said, son, your heart's just another joke. But I kept my faith in the western stars, though the distance stretched like prison bars. The wind through alleys hummed your song. I swore I'd find where you belong. Your name was etched on a motel wall, beside a number, beside a call. I dialed it once, just static return. A lesson lonely lovers learn. I traced the gravel where boots had been, whispered your name to the Wyoming wind. And though the night held no reply, the last light bowed, but it didn't die. Like a prairie fire on autumn's leaf, last light of Laramie, dim and true. I'm still chasing the ghost of you. If dawn must steal what night set free, I'll still believe in Laramie. Maybe tomorrow the sun will show a trail of footprints through the snow. Maybe the answer was never mine, just borrowed hope on borrowed time. But if I stand where the last light falls, I'll hear your whisper through canyon walls. And if the night must take its claim, I'll hold the memory of your name. Last light of Laramie, burning thin, still it guides where dreams begin. If love's a lantern, it's worth the fight. I'll chase it down through endless night. Last light of Laramie, dim and true. Even the dawn won't steal you. If heaven's promise waits for me, I'll find it here in Laramie. First rain on a Friday night, tin roof keeps the time. Coffee cools in mason jars, and secrets line the rhyme. You're barefoot on the old pine floor, moonlight in your hair. The storm begins its sermon, and we take our midnight chairs. The radio is voices whisper low, the needle found a hymn. It's crackling like the thunder when the lights go dim. We talk around the edges first, pretending there's no ache. You laugh about the mailbox that the wind bent out of shape. I say I fixed the porch swing, you say you fixed your dress. We're mending different fractures with the same old tenderness. You say your mother called again to ask about the rent. I say the mill cut back this week and still the money's spent. The lightning paints the cupboard doors a holy shade of white, and every flash reveals the things we hide in normal light. You take my hand and squeeze once more like gospel at the door. Don't walk away, your knuckles say, let's tell a little more. Tin roof confessions, beating time above our fears. Rain writes the rhythm while our hearts turn gears. Say what the daylight never lets us choose. Storm-baptized truth we cannot lose. Tin roof confessions under heaven's drum. Words like thunder, mercy like a hum. If the night must test our fragile blessings, let it start with tin roof confessions. You speak of letters never sent, stamped with almost, maybe, might, of colleges and trains that passed when life was holding tight. I tell you about the friend I loved who didn't make it home, how grief taught me to bargain with the empty dial tone. You say you're scared of being known because known can sometimes bruise. I say that love's a barroom where we still deserve good blues. We inventory kindnesses like jars upon a shelf, and promise we will give away the ones we need ourselves. We count the storms we've weathered like a ledger in the dark. The flood that took the garden fence, the hail that scarred the truck, the day we found your sister on the floor with pills and prayers, the month my brother called to say he couldn't climb the stairs. We talk about forgiveness like a field we haven't plowed, a fallow patch that waits for rain to make it green and proud. You say you'll try to call her back and listen without proof. I promise I'll believe in more than money and a roof. Tin roof confessions, beating time above our fears. Rain writes the rhythm while our hearts turn gears. Say what the daylight never lets us choose. Storm-baptized truth we cannot lose. Tin roof confessions under heaven's drum. Words like thunder, mercy like a hum. If the night must test our fragile blessings, let it start with tin roof confessions. The power flickers, candles bloom, and shadows stretch like lace. We see our younger versions sitting in the self-same place. The roof becomes a choir loft, each drop a pitch of grace. And we are simple shape note singers, finding out our place. You rest your head against my chest, and there the rhythm's plain. No choir more honest than the heart that answers rain. We say the heart at sin and stay, and mean it through the storm, and find inside that little word a house that's fierce and warm. Tin roof confessions, keep your cadence on. We'll speak the vows that dawn will lean upon. Let daylight meet the truth that night made sweet, and bless the floor beneath our feet. Tin roof confessions, storm be kind. Leave your silver on our minds. If love is forged in pressure sessions, let it ring from tin roof confessions.
There's a line where the mountain ends and evening starts to sing, where spruce tips wear their silver and the swallows braid their wings. I drove to where the gravel fades to touch the edge of you, a shoreline drawn in cobalt ink, the border of the blue. They say you're where the river crowns and trades its mud for stars, where boats tow their loneliness to drink at twilight bars. I park beside a broken sign that promised bait and brew, and watch the world get simpler at the border of the blue. Clerk said storms were brewing somewhere past the bend. I said I'd come to measure what I couldn't comprehend. He shrugged, rang up my bottle, and he nodded like he knew that some arrive with questions for the border of the blue. Counsel while it wrote its scripture slow on the vellum of the shallows where the cattails sway and bow. I wondered if your last goodbye had ever made it through, or if it stalled in silence at the border of the blue. Border of the blue, where the heart turns true, where the sky learns river and the river learns you. If I cross that line with a prayer and a clue, will I find what I lost at the border of the blue? Border of the blue, teach a stubborn soul your the border of the blue. We used to map our future with a thrift store atlas page. Circle towns with diner pies and campgrounds kind of wage. You'd mark the lakes with X's like a treasure meant for two, saying every X is mercy at the border of the blue. But time, the jealous cartograph, redrafted all our roads, turned interstates to question marks and dreams to gravel loads. I kept the atlas anyway, the coffee stains the glue, because the past is waterproof at the border of the blue. An old man with a tackle box asked me for a light. Said, son, I lost a woman here and learned to sleep at night. He nodded at the water like it introduced us new. Said, give the lake your secrets at the border of the blue. We sat without a sentence while the evening grew apace, and my bottle learned the rhythm of a steady, kinder pace. Between the night and water, something honest filtered through, a way to say goodbye and stay at the border of the blue. Border of the blue, where the heart turns true, where the sky learns river and the river learns you. If I cross that line with a prayer and a clue, will I find what I lost at the border of the blue? Border of the blue, stubborn soul, your waters rule. If love has a passport stamped renew, let me sign it tonight at the border of the blue. I tore the atlas carefully, gave the lake a page, watched it take the ink away like time bequeathing age. If maps are only guesses that we carry till they're due, then mercy redraws borders at the border of the blue. A loon called out a warning or a blessing, maybe both, and I felt the weight grow lighter as the dusk relieved its oath. I stood and said your name once more, not begging it be true, just letting it belong here at the border of the blue. Border of the blue, I can finally see how the sky keeps changing but still sets us free. If love needs losing so it can renew, I'll leave it to your keeping at the border of the blue. Border of the blue, can
Cinch up your stories, count up your trust. The auctioneer's chatters as a fiddle on fire, rattling promises, feeding desire. Granddad's plow with a handle worn thin, a mason jar full of buttons and tin, a quilt with the faintest tobacco of years, a rocker that knows all the county of tears. A boy in suspenders kicks sawdust clouds, a girl with a ribbon is reading the crowds. A widow brings roses she cut from her fence, lays them on tools that remember expense. Do I hear 50? 50. Now 5, money's a river that keeps us alive. Hands like sparrows dart up then fold. We bid on the past with whatever we hold. The auction barn waltz, 3 beats to a prayer. One for the buyer, one for the air, one for the stories that cling like a starch to wagons and watches and boots with a march. Auction barn waltz, swing low, swing sweet, turn with a chatter and shuffle your feet. If love has a ledger and time sets the cost, we balance the books in an auction barn waltz. You bid on the mirror with scalloped oak trim, said let's see ourselves the way light sees him. I bought a toolbox with 2 wrenches left, figured we're married to useful and deft. A farmer released his collection of nails, laughed at the stories that came with the pails. An old upright missing 3 ivory sings when a girl tests the keys and the whole barn clings. The auctioneer points like a band leader bold, his tongue is a bow and the numbers are gold. Sold for 100, the crowd lets it breathe. We clap for the ending that lets sorrow leave. At noon there's a lunch stand with chili and pie, and gossip that floats like a dragonfly. We barter for recipes, secrets and news, and trade the old heartbreaks for kinder day blues. Auction barn waltz, 3 beats to a prayer. One for the buyer, one for the air, one for the stories that cling like a starch to wagons and watches and boots with a march. Auction barn waltz, swing low, swing sweet, turn with a chatter and shuffle your feet. If love has a ledger and time sets the cost, we balance the books in an auction barn waltz. Toward evening the light turns a buttermilk hue, and shadows of rafters write blessings on you. We dance without music, just memory and breath, a soft little circle defying the death of Granddad's old farm, where the fence posts lean, where plows learn the psalms of a living green. We hum with a gavel, a downbeat, a halt, then sway to the doorway. Our old people's waltz. Auction barn waltz, let the sawdust fly while the past tips its hat and the future walks by. One for the keeping, one for the lost, one for the mercy that cancel the cost. Auction barn waltz, we bow and we bless all that we carried and all we confess. If love is an invoice with grace embossed, we'll pay it in full with an auction barn waltz.
skillet on the afternoon, fried up the air till the corn swooned. We hid in the shade of a sycamore choir, where shells of old summers clung like wire. You peeled one gently from a paper-thin limb, said, look how they grow by shedding skin. We passed a thermos and let the day tire, while the field tuned up the Cicada Choir. The porch had a rhythm like a rocking hymn, crickets on hi-hat and doves on the rim. Somewhere the neighbor's dog narrated true, that everything ages, but God loves you. You told me your father taught loss like a trade. Hold what you can, but be brave when it fades. I answered with stories of July in my bones, the houses I moved from, the places called home. Cicada Choir, sing heat into light, turn sweat into silver, and noon into night. If time is a shell we leave on the wire, let our love hum low in the Cicada Choir. Cicada Choir, stitched into trees, write us a chorus the hot wind can read. If summer is short and the heart is alive, we'll strum it with you, old Cicada Choir. At dusk the road does turn gospel gold, kids chalk galaxies bold on the fold. We watch the neighbor boy master a wheel, learning that balance is part of the deal. His mother tired but royal somehow, waved with a dish towel, queen of the now. We clapped when the bike took flight from its sire, and the field rose up with its Cicada Choir. You said you were thinking of moving again, a job in a city with honest men. I nodded like rain on a barn's tin cap, but inward I clung to this county map. 'Cause here is a language our bodies have learned, how sweat salts the bread that's honestly earned, how evening forgives what noon set on fire, and asks us to stay for the Cicada Choir. The Cicada Choir, sing heat into light, turn sweat into silver, and noon into night. If time is a shell we leave on the wire, let our love hum low in the Cicada Choir. Cicada Choir, stitched into trees, write us a chorus the hot wind can read. If summer is short and the heart is alive, we'll strum it with you, old Cicada Choir. When silence finally winters these trees, and snow hushes every spare melody, we'll cradle the hush like a borrowed coat, and hear in the quiet what July wrote. Your hands will be warmer because of this tune. My eyes will be kinder in February noon. Fair everything ends, but some songs conspire to echo as ghosts of a cicada choir. Cicada choir, keep humming our names through heat-shimmered fields and lightened bug flames. If leaving must come, let's staying aspire to sing from within like a cicada choir. Cicada choir, bless what we keep, fences and friendships and swallows asleep. When years shed their shells and the old loves retire, we'll wake to your rhythm. Cicada choir.
I wore your brother's boots to the county dance. Too big by a thumb, but they gave me a stance. The heels said steady, the leather said try. I walk like a promise beneath that sky. You laughed at the squeak like a fiddle off tune. Said you'll learn the steps by the end of June. The band struck fire from a plywood stage, and we learned to waltz past the weight of our age. Those boots had stories in every crease, bar fights, harvests, a long ago peace. He left for a rig in the northern cold, came back in a stare that never grew old. Sometimes he'd sit on the edge of the bed, say nothing at all with a thunderhead head. We polished those boots when he finally slept, set them like saints while the old house wept. Borrowed boots, carry me through, teach me the miles that made you true. If I'm not ready for all I must do, lend me your leather and make me new. Borrowed boots on a dusty floor, I'll dance our names like we did before. When my own courage is thin as roots, Lord, let me stand in borrowed boots. I wore them to fix that stubborn gait, to stand in the rain when we dared the fate. You handed me nails like hymns in a row, said build what you can with the time you know. The creek swelled high with yesterday's grief, we stacked sandbags in holy relief. And when the siren carved the storm in two, those boots held fast, so did you. On Sundays we walked to Grandma's yard, where shade was tender and biscuits said wear what works, then keep your peace. I learned that love is a borrowed thing, a coat you wear till you grow your spring. When your own skin fits like a field in rain, you pass the boots and praise the pain. Borrowed boots carry me through, teach me the miles that made you true. If I'm not ready for all I must do, lend me your leather and make me new. Borrowed boots on a dusty floor, I'll dance our names like we did before. When my own courage is thin as roots, Lord, let me stand in borrowed boots. And when your brother finally spoke by the clothesline where the swallows woke, he said the cold had filed him down, made him a silence in a noisy town. We stood there three in a single light, trading our fears like fire at night. He slipped those boots from my stubborn feet, said keep 'em a while, learn what's sweet. Borrowed boots, I know now why we walk each other back to sky. If miles are lessons and blisters proof, we raise a prayer from heel to roof. Borrowed boots, I'll pass them on when my own stride has come in strong. Till then I'll learn what mercy hooves, a holy road in borrowed boots. We hung a neon sign on the old hay door, blue glass blinking like a river on the floor. Called it Neon Barn Ale, open till late. Coffee at midnight, grief on the slate. Folks from the byways came in for a chair, left their secrets where the rafters stare. We served cheap pie and a jukebox hymn, let broken hearts learn how to swim. The owl above the counter kept its glow, guardian of night, things we refused to show. You poured the coffee like a steady stream, I tuned the guitar, chased a kinder dream. Farmhands, nurses, a trucker named Lee, a waitress on break, a poet set free. We shared the same storm under different coats, counting the thunder like stubborn notes. Neon barn out, watching
us fall and fly. Blink us a blessing from a borrowed sky. Hold our shadows, teach them how to fold into morning. Neon out, neon burn out. Pour one more light over the bruises we bring tonight. If grace has feathers on a rusted prow, let it be this neon barn owl. A kid with a ring in his lip told a tale of leaving a town where the steady failed. Said, I got a car with a prayer for gas. We said, chase the road, but call back last. An old man sold his watch for a song. Said, I've kept time too tight too long. We paid him double with a slice of peach and a chorus everyone could reach. You wore your apron like a battle flag, took on the weary, denied the drag. Refills are free if you stayed this far, and music's a needle that finds your scar. We taped up notes by the service hatch, looking for work, a dog to match. A field of one in a winter town, and still the owl would not look down. Neon barn owl, watch us fall and fly. Blink us a blessing from a borrowed sky. Hold our shadows, teach them how to fold into morning. Neon owl, neon barn owl, pour one more light over the bruises we bring tonight. If grace has feathers on a rusted prow, let it be this neon barn owl. One night the power died in the snow, and the sign went dark with a gentle glow. We lit the room with candles' breath and sang through the hush like cheating death. The hour turned when the lines came back, hooted in neon like a midnight track. We laughed and cried in the same small hour, a barn with a city's healing power. Neon barn owl, keep your vigil true over each last call and each debut. Hold our names like straw in a stall. Build us a nest where the hurting fall. Neon barn owl, blaze till dawn, then flicker to sleep when grief is gone. We'll meet at noon by the old hay down and thank the night it's neon barn owl.
News blows strange on the desert floor. A headline scrawled on a mercantile door. Rain last Tuesday, calf turned lame. We passed the facts like a prayer with a name. You ride in slow with a dusted grin. Say I brought the mail that the sky blew in. A tumbleweed bumps at the wooden stoop, knocking like truth at a Sunday group. Postcards gathered from a windswept bin, smelling like thunder and old tin. From miners, drifters, a teacher in towels, a mother in Tucson who misses her house. We read them aloud by the pot-bellied stove, stitching a town from the letters they wove. The sheriff nods to the rhythm of news, counts his forgiveness in scuffed up shoes. Tumbleweed telegram, rolling the plane, carrying stories like boxcars of rain. If words find towns when roads forget, let the wind deliver our alphabet. Tumbleweed telegram, hush and hum, tell us who made it and who might come. If love is a postmark lost to time, stamp us home in a sandy rhyme. A rancher rides the well-ran shy, but my daughter lassoed a pinkish sky. A singer says got a stage in June, in a barroom lit by a velvet moon. A soldier sends dust inside an envelope, says call this grit or call it hope. We pass the grain like communion bread and bow our heads to the unspoken dead. Sort the letters with steady grace. Find me a note with my mother's face. She says, son, the lilacs forgave last frost. Plant your heart though you think it's lost. I fold that page like a keepsake coin, feel something stitch where it used to disjoin. The door lets in a trumpet of sand, an orchestra played by a ghostly hand. Tumbleweed telegram, rolling the plane, carrying stories like boxcars of rain. If words find towns when roads forget, let the wind deliver our alphabet. Tumbleweed telegram, hush and hum, tell us who made it and who might come. If love is a postmark lost to time, stamp us home in a sandy rhyme. When storms erase our wagon ruts, when glass becomes the desert's cuts, we'll still be reading by coal oil light, a town of voices stitched at night. And if tomorrow steals our sign, we'll write it back on coyote's spine. A message brief, a mercy long, delivered in a gritty song. Tumbleweed telegram, roll on through, carry our name
seems like a traveling pew. If silence swallows road and wire, we'll trust your dry, devoted choir. Tumbleweed telegram, bless this place. Mark us with your wind-carved grace till rain re-inks the desert's gram. We'll read your tumbleweed telegram. 4 a.m. and the county's asleep, except for the roads we promised to keep. I lace my boots, kiss your cheek once more, step into stars that snow restores. The truck coughs heat like a dragon sigh. Yellow lights comb the winter sky. The plow drops steel with a faithful scrape, drawing a hymn in a frozen shape. I know each corner by the way it moans, each drift that hides the mailbox bones. Farm dogs bark with a muffled woof, barns wear halos of sugar proof. My thermos whispers a coffee song, hands find their courage in fingertip calm. I talk to the road like an old dear friend, hold steady now, we'll make this bend. Snowplow serenade in a silent town, singing in sparks as the blade comes down. If mercy is measured in lanes we clear, then love's a shoulder I leave right here. Snowplow serenade, hum low, hum true. I'll bring the morning home to you, where tired tracks write what night unmade. I'll carve our song, Snowplow Serenade. There's Mrs. Flynn with her porchlight brave, waiting to open the path I gave. She waves a mitten, a woolen flag. I tip my cap, let the diesel brag. A kid at the window counts each pass, dreams of school or one more class. 2 lovers shovel the same short drive, learn that rhythm keeps love alive. I think of summer in this pale glare, how gravel sang where the sun ran bare, how we drank peach tea from frosted jars, chasing the flight of a local star. But winter's a teacher with quiet chalk, drawing the careful breath in plume, trust in the plow to find us room. Snowplow serenade in a silent town, singing in sparks as the blade comes down. If mercy is measured in lanes we clear, then love's a shoulder I leave right here. Snowplow serenade, hum low, hum true. I'll bring the morning home to you, where tired tracks write what night unmade. I'll carve our song, Snowplow Serenade. When the whiteout blinds like a linen sea, I follow the mailbox liturgy. Reflectors flicker like manger flames, guiding the weary, saying our names. I think of you with the kettle on, of quilts that learn our evening yawn. I push that drift like a stubborn sin and feel the dawn begin within. Snowplow serenade, brass and blue, horns of the winter singing me through. If mercy is still on a road of need, then love is the warming after speed. Snowplow serenade, lane by lane, we'll stitch this county back again. By the time the day has fully played, you'll hear it clear. Snowplow Serenade.
We sat across from each other in the yellow light. Bills stacked high, but the coffee tasted right. Kids were asleep with their toys still sprawled, and silence pressed like a preacher call. You circle numbers with a pen run dry. I rubbed my temples and asked you why. We'd fought all day about money and time, but the night said mercy could still be mine. The kitchen table bore the scars of years, crayon scribbles and dried up tears. A scar from the skillet when the handle slipped, a notch from a hammer when the frame was tipped. It held our vows through the lean and fat, through birthdays sung in old straw hats. So when the night got loud with doubt, the table whispered, work it out. Kitchen table treaty, signed in steam and sigh. Peace declared 'neath the Midwest sky. Not a paper, not a stamp, just a look that sweet. Our truce is written where the coffee meets. Kitchen table treaty, fragile, true. Promises stitched between me and you. If the world breaks down on a daily beat, we'll mend it again at the kitchen seat. said I'm tired of chasing what won't be caught, of patching holes with a dollar we haven't got. I said I'm weary of being a man with fists who hides his fear in a payroll list. But then you reached and found my hand, and the storm dissolved like shifting sand. We laughed at the dishes piled in a tower, said peace can come in the smallest hour. The fridge hummed soft to steady him, a gospel written in fluorescent dim. We toasted bread with the last of the jam and sang along to the radio band. It wasn't much, but it felt like grace, the kind you taste in a humble place. We didn't solve every wound or war, but we closed that night with the hope of more. Kitchen table treaty, signed in steam and sight, peace declared 'neath the Midwest sky. Not a paper, not a stamp, just a look that sweet. Our truce is written where the coffee meets. Kitchen table treaty, fragile, true, promises stitched between me and you. If the world breaks down on a daily beat, we'll mend it again at the kitchen seat. Someday, when the kids are grown, they'll carve their names in a table of their own. They'll argue, they'll weep, they'll forgive, they'll pray, and they'll learn treaties are made this way. Not in courts, not in halls, not in marble floors, but in kitchens with linoleum wars. And they'll remember the night we stayed, how love was the treaty we always made. Kitchen table treaty, written plain in sugar spills and coffee stains. No lawyer's pen, no nation's feet, just two tired souls at a wooden seat. Kitchen table treaty, humble, free, signed forever by you and me. If tomorrow storms with defeat, we'll draft it again. Kitchen table treaty.
Sunrise drapes on a canyon wall, amber light like a prophet's call. Sagebrush bends in a whispered prayer, high desert silence fills the air. Boots crunch gravel on a sacred road, carrying burdens too heavy a load. But out here mercy feels bone deep, a hymn the desert swears to keep. The coyotes tune their midnight song, Stars spread wide in cathedral calm. The wind is a choir, the sand the drum. The hymnal's open where rivers come. Every stone a scripture, every cactus hymn, every shadow teaching where grace begins. You lift your voice with a trembling tune, and I find faith under a red sky moon. High desert hymnal echo wide, singing through canyons where ghosts reside. Pages are written in dust and flame, teaching me hope by another name. High desert hymnal, fierce and kind, binding the wounds of a weary mind. If faith is fragile, it won't stay dim, not in the hymn of the desert's hymn. We pitched a tent where the jackrabbits run. Watch shadows stretch in the setting sun. You told me stories of prophets gone, who found their God when they walked alone. I traced your face in the lantern's glow, said every desert is a place to grow. The silence deep as an organ's note carved its blessing in my throat. At dawn we woke to the raven's call. Its wing beat echoed against the wall. I felt my soul like a canyon rim, fragile but vast, carved out within. We broke our bread with a thermos of tea and offered thanks to the cedar tree. The desert doesn't promise ease, but it baptizes every need. High desert hymnal echo wide, singing through canyons where ghosts reside. Pages are written in dust and flame, teaching me hope by another name. High desert hymnal, fierce and kind, binding the wounds of a weary mind. If faith is fragile, it won't stay dim, not in the hymn of the desert's hymn. I thought salvation was church-bound walls, four-part harmony and altar calls. But here the service is sky and stone, a liturgy carved by being alone. We that the map forgot. Drank our fill of what grace had wrought, and I swore then by the raven's flight that faith is wild, not wrong or right. High desert hymnal, lift me high, carve my soul in the canyon sky. If the world forgets my hymn or name, the desert will sing me just the same. High desert hymnal, vast and true, faith in silence born anew. When my last song slips from my limb, let it be sung in the desert's hymn. We stood in the break room, helmets hung, coal dust heavy on every tongue. Your hand in mine was black and warm, but your eyes were clear as a mountain morn. We couldn't afford no silver band, so I gave you a promise with a miner's hand. Coal dust smeared on your finger thin, and you laughed, forever can begin. The preacher used a Bible by the locker row, the foreman grinned like he didn't know. Our vows were shouted through whistles and steam, a wedding card from a shiftman's dream. We kissed with soot still on our skin, and the mind sang low like a violin. Love ain't polished, but it burns the same, even buried under a mountain's name. Coal dust wedding ring, dark but bright, forged in tunnels with no daylight. Love's not gold, but it's strong as steel, tested by the earth, proven real. Coal dust wedding ring, humble vow, promised in the here and now. If tomorrow takes all we bring, we'll still wear that cold dust wedding ring. We built a home on the hollow's edge, raised our babies by the garden's ledge. You hung white sheets on the clothesline sway while I washed the grit from another day. Paychecks thin, but your laughter wide. We measured wealth by who slept inside. Your hands smelled faint of flour and coal, both feeding and steadying every soul. Then one December the sirens cried, the mine gave way like a wounded tide. We dug out brothers with our bare hands, praying mercy would understand. I came home late with a broken back, but you held me tight, said we'll not lack. The dust on the floor was the same old thing, but I swore it shone like a wedding ring. Coal dust wedding ring. dust wedding ring. Now we're older, our hair gone gray, but coal still clings in a loving way. On the mantle sits no diamond crown, just a helmet dented, paint worn down. And when our children ask what lasts, we tell them love survives the blast. It isn't wealth or the songs we sing, it's the dust that made a wedding ring. Coal dust wedding ring, pure as truth, dark as the tunnels, but bright as a youth. Love's not measured in shine or gold, but in stories stubborn hearts have told. Coal dust wedding ring, strong and plain, carved in sweat and sealed in rain. When the mountains take what men can bring, we'll still wear our coal dust wedding ring.
On the porch we mapped the stars with chalk. Lines from your finger guided my talk. Said that's Orion, stubborn and tall. That's Cassiopeia near the garden wall. You lit a lantern to chase the dark, and every moth became a spark. We built our world on a notebook page, a Porchlight Atlas in a simple age.
Neighbors waved as they passed on by. Trucks hum low beneath a summer sky. The crickets file their steady breathe, while we trace continents in a maple leaf.
We said someday we'd see the seas, but tonight we sail the firefly breeze. Every chalk line boundless free, every squiggle a country meant to be. Porchlight Atlas, drawn by hand, stars and stories in the dust and sand. If the world feels far and the map's too tight, we'll chart our way by the porch light. Porchlight Atlas, humble and true, boundless skies in a backyard view. If love's a compass, it points tonight to the glow of our porch light.
Your daddy brought out a radio tune, static and still beneath the moon. Said dream my kids, but don't forget The best maps start where your shoes are set.
We nodded wise, though we longed to roam. Drew arrows pointing both far and home. And I swear the chalk glowed brighter still, as if the stars had bent their will.
We planned our lives in constellations, counted blessings as migrations. Said this line's college, that curve's a farm. This star is love, it keeps us warm.
When storms rolled in and erased the sleigh, we redrew hope with stubborn faith. And every smudge, each chalky fight, became new lands by the porch light. Porchlight Atlas, drawn by hand, stars and stories in the dust and sand. If the world feels far and the map's too tight, we'll chart our way by the porch light. Porchlight Atlas, humble and true, boundless skies in a backyard view. If love's a compass, it points tonight to the glow of our porch light. Now we're grown with our children here, drawing their maps with the same old cheer. The porch is creaking, the boards are thin, but the atlas draws us home again.
And when the day comes we can't stay, the stars will teach them the same old way.
Every chalk mark fades to dust, but love's porch light outlives rust. Porchlight Atlas, shine so wide, guide us gentle through the tide. If the world forgets our names outright, it will still recall this porch light. Porchlight Atlas, drawn and kept by hands that laughed and eyes that wept. If love's a journey, our maps are